Okay, on?
Yes, go.
Okay, the word in and the word out. Okay, now Christians, even though they're in ward, they're already in protective custody because they're not a participant. Okay, those are participating, okay, could be considered on the out. But in reality, you have to look at what's really going on there. It could be reversed to what we're just saying here as far as a Christian. Because in reality, those that are participating in the game are on the in. They're inside what's going on. We don't want to be inside. We want to be outside of it. We don't want to be part of it. We want to be neutral to it. So, in, the word in itself, in symbolization means I possess search. I. First person, search. Okay? Now you know why they're always searching you. Then you've got out, which is balance, you, title. Now what do you want to be? Do you want to be on the one that has the IN, which is I search? Go on that journey. That means you're just going on and on and on. Or do you want to be in the balance, you, title?
Person.
It's right there. You're already in God's hands. A child or someone in a trust is already looked after. You cannot play both roles on this. People who are making their own decisions in the world of this crazy, chaotic democracy are part of demonocracy. You're a member. You're already adjudged against God because you have arms. So you are going to be part of what will happen in the personification of Scripture where it talked about Gog of Magog in Ezekiel, which was the personification of all the nations together warring against Christ and God's kingdom. By chance that those that are actually marked have arms, Christ is in your Christian name already. You do not need an arms. We have spiritual protection, not physical. But you require in the world of mankind, in recreation of the creation that God has already done, you need the surname. That's a recreation of Satan. Christ is the creator, according to Scripture. Wouldn't it make sense that you're part of the creator with your Christian name? Therefore, you'd be the namesake of Christ. And you'd be a son. And because he died, you'd be in his will. But unlike carnal fathers, who have to need slimy lawyers to execute something in a paganism way after the death based on paper, Christ arose. And he is in power. He just hasn't executed the will in its finality, which is going to come. If you're in the will, you have no concern, because then you have God's free will. You don't pay for that. If you want to go pay for a will, go to a slime bucket lawyer, because he'll sell you that all day long as an advocate of that. He whores himself for law. He advocates Satan, the father of the lie. So you can choose which side you want to be on. And again, I say, don't let me stand in the way of your success. We've got guys playing these double agent nonsense out there, claiming they're freemen, claiming they're sovereigns, claiming that they've got it all down, and they're going to go out there and tell the government what to do. Well, let me tell you, they're going to be speed bumps in the way of the military arrangement of the government, because if you want to understand society as it stands right now, we have a mixed war going on between Stratocracy of those that are in their military chiefs in control, Receiver General, Attorney General, Auditor General, Solicitor General, Receiver General, Register General,
Commander-in-Chief, Lieutenant Governor.
All those are in war-like arrangement. They do not give legal advice to those that will call in. Call them up and try to get legal advice. So you're not part of their government. The legal department of the government only gives advice to the government, not to those that believe they're the people. The people are in a democracy. The democracy goes to the private lawyers who advocate private gain, which works completely against the public side. Because it's not public, it's private. Public is for everybody's good. Private is for selfish reasons. You cannot have good in public, charity, and evil in private, and mix those two together. So it's a private-public war. We call that basically a mixed war. You can look these terms up. Black's Law's got an excellent definition of it. Therefore, our government is actually, that operates and controls everything, is a stratocracy. Man's demonic idea of trying to run his own selfish gain with the idea of sharing sovereignty amongst 35 million participants or 350 million. Canada's got roughly 35 million. We got the US with 350 million. Well, that is completely ridiculous, because now you've got basically a democracy that does not work with the stratocracy that operates the government. Therefore, you will have a clash between the two. Always working in the courts all day long. Good business, great for lawyers, because the lawyers make all the business on the private side, but then, of course, if they want to work on the public side, then they just become a crown attorney, which works for the stratocracy, which is the military chiefs. Of course, who are paid by what in reality? Those that issue the money.
Taxpayers.
But the taxpayers are paying tax every time they crest beyond the barrier between private and public. So the minute that you say that surname, that army name, that war name, you're now crossing the line, disturbing the peace, because your Christian name or your given name is peace. Your surname is war. So the minute you say the war name, automatically that's a penalty, because private and public don't mix. And so that's why every private individual who wants to work in the enforcement game has to wear a badge, a public badge, and he's only known under his surname. He's Officer so-and-so, PC so-and-so, PC Smith, PC Taylor. He's no longer individual because he's in an aggregate in the Army. There are no individual rights in the Army. It doesn't exist. You lose all your rights when you join the Army. Privates are the lowest end of the Army. The lowest division, the lowest rank. So everybody is signed up to take themselves out of public protection and put themselves into taking the public corporation private. And private and public don't mix. So every time you say something in the public with your private name, claiming you got private use to that surname, that war name, that arms, you will pay for its common use as your share. And that's how it operates. You can try to complicate this, do it all you want, you will pay rent on it. You're renting the name, it's hybridized, it doesn't belong with the given name. That's a given. The other one, one's a creation, one's a recreation. Christ was the creator at the beginning. So he created that. You were there beforehand. And then the other one is given after the fact. These are difficult concepts for those that are chasing money. You cannot serve God and mammon. So either you are charitable or you are there for profit. The only way you can run the profit side is to join the two together, to participate. And that requires your consent to be a dissenter, a defector against your original position which is what your Christian name is. It's original.
You become denominated.
And that's what happens. We become a denomination, the money. Because you denominated yourself from Christian to the other, because on the record it appears you were surnamed that. But you have to understand that the world had to have both positions available. Because most people are not going to choose charity and Christianity. If they do not believe, then they don't have that gift. It requires you to believe. It's a gift. It's a present. It's pre-sent to you. It's a God-given name. The surname is something recreated by Satan to run down his father of the lie idea. When you put the two together, they don't mix, and therefore it's illegal. Therefore you have to legalize it. We create a legal lie called a legal fiction, which in turn would require you to sign for it because no one else would be dumb enough to back it up other than you. And the guys running the denial of Christ, which are the Zionist bankers who are running the banking system under the private banks that fund the world under debt. Therefore, they give you third-party liability so you can lie. Now you have the ability to lie that that's your name, but it's not your name. Because your individual name only occurs under your individual name, which is your Christian name, which is non-transferable to anybody else. To attach anything to it or add anything onto it is a completely 100% lie. A fiction, an untruth, not a fact, a lie. But a lie or fraud is not fraud when you consent to it. And the world of fraud works that way. So a legal fiction is defined as X is Y and cannot be disproved. Because if you've already stated it Y, you are no longer X. So we hope that part of it will kind of summarize what we're talking about. And this could take numerous videos to comprehend. Because as long as that veil of greed, money, and the chasing something, it's like chasing your tail. It's like a dog going around in circles, and that's really what the money's all about. And unfortunately, every last thing that anybody's ever purchased or bought was with somebody else's superscription and signature. You may have moved it to pin the crime on you as the one moving it around, but the actual transaction that paid for it was with somebody else's signature. And therefore, they own every last bit of anything you've ever bought. Consider that the $5 bill, the $20 bill, the $100 bill, the $50 bill, I don't care if you're in the United States or Canada or any other nation, whoever's the signing authorities on those paper notes own whatever you bought. You didn't buy it, they bought it. You may have moved it around as an agent on behalf of them, but it's theirs. You bought something for them, not for you. So I understand that the frustration could come out of this because I would realize you have absolutely nothing. Well, you had nothing to begin with. You came into the world with nothing, and you leave with nothing. So it would not make sense in between you to have nothing, because how could you have something? What are you going to do when you leave with nothing? How could you think you're going to control something? You're going to put your trust in a lawyer to actually go ahead and carry on the idea of a dead guy who's going to actually carry on his will?
Ha!
What happens when there's no more lawyers?
Yay!
So the future may not have lawyers in the will. And even in the New World Order. The New World Order may not even have lawyers. Why would they require them? They got everybody chipped, iris scanned, fingerprinted. Why would they need a lawyer? You will already be damned by the moment they catch you or say that you've done something. You're already down judgment roll. You're already in the situation of what they're going to run you right through. They don't even need to worry about railroading. You're already railroaded. There'll be courts of execution, not courts of judgment anymore. They won't require that. Save a lot of time and energies. There's a time frame in between this, but it's coming. And they're getting people used to it. And eventually, as you don't need even to sign for anything, because right now your authority believes your own little heartbeat only occurs based on your signature, but it appears they're removing that slowly by slowly, each day after day. There's something leading to something that doesn't require you to sign. We'll put a chip in a card. You don't need to sign anything anymore. You just put the little numbers into the thing. Eventually, they won't require that because it'll just require a scan on your hand or your eye, and then that's what pays for it. And if there's nothing there, you don't get anything. Sounds good off the top, but why do you need that? Is that what God intended? God needed man to come up with that technology? Or is that something artificial? That's only for artificial persons. So, I believe we're going to go through a lot of controversy during these videos with a lot of people who are going to get very upset. We know there's enough, unfortunately, what I consider to be in law ignoramus is up in the Owen Sound area. I've never met, I think it must be the elevation because they Owen Sound. They O every time they speak. That must be what Owen Sound stands for. I don't know, but that's what it seems to be. At least I didn't pick out any particular debtors out there, but that's what it's about. And they're eventually marking themselves for serious. I've never seen so much police enforcement than up in that area. That is probably the most heavy enforcement I've seen. There must be something coming because there must be a lot of land that the New World Order wants, and they're going to get it anyways, whether these guys want to be involved. But it is an unfortunate concern that we've realized even from doing these videos that we've actually received a lot of negative response from those particular zones. So you'll probably after the end of this video see them up on web boards under ghost names because they can't stand forward with their real Christian name. They have to come under a ghost name. We call that a coward. That's a coward. And they can't speak to someone face to face. So be very careful when you're dealing with these people because they're flying Canadian flags over their house though they're claiming that they're Christian. So be careful about who you're associating with, and are they really actually walking the walk of Christ, or are they actually walking down a double agent path and then claiming they're your best friend and they're leading you through scripture and they actually know what they're talking about. And they will mislead many, and there will be many. Most of these people, unfortunately, have to go through this purging. Maybe they will come out of it, I don't know. I cannot judge the future. But I realize there is a lot of atrocity being thrown against true Christianity out there right now to mislead people down directions that have nothing to do with Christ. Especially these ideas, the misuse of Scripture on that word free man. That is certainly a Satan attack right now. And there is going to be a lot of atrocity over the misuse of that because the people using that term are not anything to do with the Bible or Christ. These are people you should not break bread with. But you may choose to do so and may find out otherwise. And you may find yourself up on CBC.
That's the same for the term sovereigns and patriots or whatever they want to call themselves.
Yeah.
I'm done.